Ladies, gentlemen, friends, family, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. I'm Zach, an actor here in the city of Chicago, joined by...
I'm Michael. I'm also an actor here in the city of Chicago. We are back, and we are whack.
To the point. Like, I'm Michael.
I'm Michael. Let me talk on the beat. We're back. We are reacting to SsethTzeentach videos again.
Oh, baby.
Wizardry 8 review. Extreme role-playing.
Extreme TM role-playing.
TM.
Gotta get the trademark
Extreme.
in there. Oh, then the role-playing is also trademarked.
And,
okay.
And this is suggested by Scrambled Eggs. So thank you, Scrambled Eggs, for suggesting this video. If you've got another video you want to suggest, make sure to leave it in the comments section down below. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of our videos. And, hit that bell so you get notified.
I am a fan of scrambled eggs as well.
I'm more of a tofu person myself.
Well,
but yeah.
tofu.
That's fun news. Little personal info for us. Hey, if you want more personal info, we have our links to websites, Instagrams, all that stuff. If you want to keep up with what Zach and I are doing outside of Chicago Reacts, feel free to check that out. I'm doing a show. I've talked about it in a couple of videos, so go check that out at my website. Otherwise, we'll keep you posted. Let's get into it.
Wizardry
8.
We missed out on the first 7, but
but we're here for 8.
I'm sure Seth will catch us up.
Yeah, definitely.
With some extreme role playing.
Here we go.
Hey people, Seth here.
Seth.
Today, I'll be breaking away from tradition. I'll be covering some old-ass game that's probably very obscure, long,
Old-ass
frustrating,
game.
dehumanizing, but also very fun. Ask yourself, have you ever wanted to experience
Yes.
the role-playing
Nostalgic game
equivalent of
reviews.
poisoning yourself repeatedly
I am afflicted.
for many weeks?
That I am afflicted voice, that was definitely the
Until you gradually build up a tolerance
the
for
Argonian
self-inflicted pain and
voice
suffering.
from
You see,
Oblivion.
much like eating a bag of raw potatoes, do it in one go, and you might die.
And
But do it
she looks
gradually,
crazy.
and you might live. Keep at it, and you might just start enjoying it. I present to you Wizardry 8, released in 2001 by the Canadian government. Wizardry 8 is one of the finest torture devices to be released on the personal computer. Wizardry 8 takes place in the Dragon Ball Z extended universe. You and your party are space-traveling aliens hired by the Wookiees to retrieve all 3 remaining Dragon Balls, the Astral Domine, the Chaos Malari, and the Destiny Dominus, and use them to ascend as literal gods and reshape the universe. Ascension takes place on a planet called Dominus. Unfortunately, the process of ascension has been complicated by the involvement of a dark savant, who, to put it simply, is Space Hitler, setting up an interplanetary anti-Semitic
Sounds about
blockade
right.
around Dominus. Unfortunately, your ship bears the mark of David and is quickly shot out of the sky, forcing you to make a crash landing. All things considered, that's not too bad. Except, Space Hitler has also rigged the planet with a nuclear payload that is large enough to glass the entire surface, in case anyone who isn't Space Hitler tries to ascend. I hope you're following all this, because this is just the intro. And now I'm going to quickly summarize the plot to help you understand how amazing this game is. Space Hitler is not very popular. As a result, he loses the only Dragon Ball he has to the Italian mafia, because he neglected to...
I think it's interesting, so this game is very old. I said one of the,
2001.
Yeah. And even what they're able to do, knowing how limited they were, understanding how much technology has advanced, it's kind of incredible what they were able to do.
Oh yeah,
With such limited space. I mean, this is just after they were saving, because we watched the 2001 or 2000. What was it? Apocalypse. What was it? Y2K.
Yes.
And it's like they're literally saving bytes of data by just putting 97 instead of 2000, and they were just past that. We're still in that age where it's you're saving the tiniest bit of data. And I just think it's actually still really impressive what they were able to do. Anyway.
And creating this entire new universe, and ultimately it's just so cool. And I mean, the character model of the dark savant is super
It's still
dope.
really cool.
Yeah.
And it's just a couple of geometric shapes that they were able to throw together.
Yeah, and the guy with the fedora, very
Cool.
very high
Yeah,
resolution.
yeah.
And the plate of spaghetti that they incorporated into the cutscenes.
Pay for Godfather Don Barlone. By the way, the Italian mafia in this game is composed of rats and speak in an Italian-American accent.
Me? I'm always in top form, not just Ratkin. Razooka, pal! Yeah, the Order of Tar. You might consider us a family of sorts.
Don Barlone
That's
switches out the
sick.
Astral Dominate with a shiny salt lick. The melanated master finds out and has an autistic tantrum in front of you. You'll come to find this is a common theme. You take the imitation and buy the real thing. It costs most of your life savings, so instead of paying, you might try and whack him instead. Luckily, the best tricks are so nice that they work twice. First, you gotta get chummy with the Umpani or the Trang. This is the choice between authoritarian rhinos or literal bugmen that reproduce faster than India. I usually roll Umpani because we share a common bond in our attraction to anthropomorphic rhino girls. Siding with one of those lets you visit the local Wookiee embassy to have a look at their Chaos Malari. And by having a look at their Chaos Malari,
He seems like an honest, trusting guy, and those are my favorite kinds of people.
I mean snatching it in front of them, apologizing sincerely, and then replacing it with a knockoff glass bulb. Then you gotta find the Destiny Dominus, which is really the search for enlightenment. As the source of all knowledge in the universe, you find it naturally by consuming a lot of psilocybin, DMT, and ayahuasca. So you can project yourself to a higher plane of consciousness and talk with Joe Rogan. With all 3 Dragon Balls in your dragon sack, there's still the small matter of nuclear oblivion. So you gotta go up north and offer your sweet body to a goat demoness. This game was very progressive for its time because Alcedexis is fiercely heterosexual and rejects the very concept of scissoring. She also rejects the concept of monetizable content because her milk jugs are anything but modest. Anyway, to disarm the bomb, you have to get inside it. How? By breaking and entering into people's bedrooms.
Seth's little accent
logically
is
speaking,
so
one of them
perfect.
is bound to have a direct access interdimensional portal into the bomb, which can be disabled by pressing random keys and getting lucky. With a bomb you smack the savant, leaving him disarmed. The savant dies, but in
I
Man,
love
that's the
I
game,
love
dude.
those puzzles where you're like, you could figure this out, or you could guess, and you'll figure it out just as quickly.
Genius. Whoa.
Genius.
Whoa.
his death reveals to you the ultimate truth that he's been using a voice changer on Discord this whole time, and he's not actually that dark. The end. Any questions? No? Then in that case, welcome to Wizardry 8. I love this game. Now let's talk about playing it. To play, you need to make a party. From characters, you make yourself. If I said there's a lot of options, that would be an
so you get to
understatement.
create a
You can
whole
be
party.
anything
Okay.
you want to be. Humans, non-humans, subhumans, furries, scalies, more furries, and even short kings. There's so many short kings in this game, you can pick by your preferred size. Anything from 5'11" kings to a 5'10" pocket prince, who are so light at this point, they get carried away by the wind. Race. Is there a link between race and I? There's 11 races, and that's only including ones you can pick. There's about
so
16
crazy.
in total. Do anything you want to do, and I mean it. I don't care how many classes your game has, because Wizardry 8 has 15, including, but not limited to, fighters, which fight, Valkyries, which fight using female privilege to avoid death, ninjas, which fight with the empty space representing their lack of contribution to the team until 2 weeks into the average game. However, if you rolled a fairy ninja, congratulations, because your pocket prince can now solo the entire game. Alchemist makes potions and breaks the economy by making infinite potions you can sell for infinite money, letting you buy everything in the entire game. 10 out of 10, working as intended. Gadgeteer, who uses an unconventional form of weaponry. A gun. But that's the boring part. The interesting part is overloading a microwave in a monastery, ripping out the microwave chip, and using it to give your enemies brain tumors. Gadgets are essentially random pieces of trash duct taped together to inexplicably cause widespread devastation. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, then let me tell you about the bard. In most games, a bard plays music, keeps up morale, and probably cooks and
What's your
How is it that like Seth finds these games? Like, what is he Googling? Like, what forums is he on? and what
on all the right
clearly we're missing. I mean, he plays some of the most intense, like, just absolutely
I'm
absurd
sure most of these games have like some sort of cult following, you know.
Right.
So he's finding these things that probably like a lot of these broken things that's like well known. So he's going, oh yeah, I know I can do this. Let's like fuck with it.
Yeah,
that's my assumption.
Yeah, he just like. He's like so good at finding these incredibly complex games that are from 20 years ago, that are more complex than games that exist and have existed over the last 20 years. Like that.
Right. It's crazy that it has so much in it.
Yeah.
And yet it's like so new as like a game.
Like that.
Like it's so, or like new to like PC gaming was hardly.
Exactly.
Developed.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, your Y2K comment was like a perfect example of like.
And yet they've crammed so much.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what they were able to do.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Because you paused it.
Oh, I was gonna say I love like how they did. Just even again, it's such an old style of gaming, but they've like all like the magical effects and like all that stuff that they've thrown in there. Like it's so simple, but it's still so clear.
Right.
And it's really cool.
Right. Yeah. No, I love all the classes too. Like I think that's like experimenting and finding which classes like work well together. Like that's what I love about these games.
Yeah, totally.
And how you can get so into them. Like. So cool. Let us know in the comments too. Like if you have played Wizardry 8, like do you recall your experience whilst playing it? Like that would be super cool to know. Like hearing from another,
especially if you played it like when it came out or shortly at like. Yeah, if we got anybody playing who played it when it came out, that'd be so cool to see. Like, what was your experience at that time?
Yeah. If you're on YouTube for nostalgic reasons and you're hanging out with us and you're like, Wizardry 8, whoa, like that would be wicked to hear some of your insight too.
All right, let's see what other craziness.
Cleans for the party as well. In Wizardry 8, the droning melody of a bard's bagpipe brings pandemonium. The plucking of his harp causes cerebral hemorrhaging, and the blowing of his horn results in nuclear fallout. Building the optimal six-man party is difficult. Explaining is difficult, and we don't have time. Here's my build. Follow it, copy it, enjoy it. It's very powerful, very well-rounded, and gives you a complete first experience of a game. By the way, this game's got a lot of voiced dialogue.
I've got a surprise for you. Stand still so you can get it between the eyes.
And most of it comes from your own party.
Is that Cicero from Skyrim?
There's 18 different personalities for each gender.
There have been many implements of destruction at my disposal, yeah?
Which is 36
totally
fully
sounded
voiced
like
personalities
Cicero.
in total.
Yeah, slice him, dice him. No sense being nice to him. That's my motto.
And that's absolutely nuts. Now, on to the fun stuff. I present to you all my current party. That's right, I manually imported all this to work inside the game. By the way, they're fully animated. The portraits, not even that bad. But manually animating the eyes and mouth, yeah, that took a while. As our first fighter, internet historian. Physically, he's a giant. Mentally, he's...
Ah, a trap. I wonder what would happen if I just pulled this thing here.
He's very stable. Mr. Mandalore as our second fighter, whose voice I absolutely adore.
How exciting. I think I'm improving. Oh no. More people. They just keep coming and coming. I'm getting stressed.
It's just so expressive. As our morally bankrupt, backstabbing, conniving, and scheming Jew, we got my man Uber Danger as a rogue who sounds exactly as he does in real life.
I'd rather be recognized with cash, but a rise in status will do. Oh yeah, this is amazing. Nothing special. Yeah, probably worthless. I'll just hang on to it for us. You go on and fight. I'll guard the rear.
For spellcasters, I put Frederick Knudsen as our resident psionic. There's nothing wrong with him. He's actually the most well-adjusted of the entire group.
Gotcha! I am glad to be alive again, though the stillness of death was not totally objectionable.
Also, I put him as female. Sorry, Fred baby, but the best jewelry in this game is for girls. And we need to min-max. Myself as the party's dark, brooding alchemist.
Ordinary men fear the power of darkness. I revel in it.
Who, over the course of the story,
the voice acting is low-key really solid across the board.
What is his name?
Thanks so very much.
For a 2001 game.
It makes
like,
sense too, because I mean, they're not animating voices or mouths are moving or anything like that. So like to have like a rich voice, makes sense that they would really want to amp that up.
Sure, but I'm just saying also like the quality, like the clearness of the audio. Like you'd expect like maybe the compression rates of the audio to not be super great back in 2001.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like the clearness and like the depth of the voice acting is just really, really good, and it's definitely like building up this world considerably.
Well, it's also, I mean, it's cool that they even had voice acting stuff going on because, I mean, there's been games that have come out after that didn't have any. Well, maybe, yeah, I think it's just cool.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I just think, I think it helps so much with the world building.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
All right.
Did you tear me from death's sweet embrace?
And finally, Ken Ashcorp as our local priest.
Be careful!
I can't believe we're wasting time talking to a chipmunk!
Who's also completely unhinged. I did originally consider adding Pyro Cynical to the team, but unfortunately, YouTube does not let me feature minors in this video. There's a lot to do in Wizardry. Explore amazing places, visit the swamp, catch malaria, climb a tree, get body blocked for hours by hamsters, go to the only functional city in the game with a grand total population of about 12 people, get harassed by Space Hitler and the androids of the Fourth Reich, head to the bar, get blackmailed, go to the bank, because of course it's still open, go to the airport, because why not? Because this is the one game where you can talk to a starship and tell it to go fuck itself. The dialogue system in this game is nothing short of amazing. You have to manually write down, memorize, and figure out the keywords for conversational topics you're interested in. The game will then try to identify your intent and produce you a fully voiced answer.
Amusing yourself, are you?
There's not many NPCs in this game, but I remember every single one of them. Whether it's the Umpani and their militaristic tendencies.
Oh, come on now, stupid thing. Get in there. Perfect. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The slick-talking Don Barlone of Arazuka.
We keep our end of the deal, you know. But he slips town before he pays our fee. So, we're here to collect. But he ain't gonna pay. That ain't a problem. We get our cash, and you get your prize. And the Dark Savant gets shafted.
Or even your own biological daughter, conceived as a result of sleeping around with demons, because their voice acting is absolutely fantastic. Some can even be convinced to join your party. Unfortunately, most of them are highly superstitious of their own planet, and won't go where you want them to.
You know what, boys? This place reminds me of a song I wrote called I Ain't Going There No Way, No How.
The workaround to this is running them to exhaustion with a heavy backpack, knocking them unconscious, and forcibly dragging them past the load screen. Once they wake up, they'll complain and bitch about this breach of consent, which is why people generally avoid them, except RFS 81, who is the best boy, because, unlike everyone else, he's not programmed to be a bitch. Quests are also equally brilliant, until you get stuck, until you get frustrated and desperate enough to read the damn walkthrough instead. There's no shame in that, because I do it. And I finished the game twice. Some of my favorite quests include protecting a verified Twitter user from hateful comments online by crushing someone into meat paste after luring them in using the sweet aroma of a female girl, getting motion sickness from the mine tunnels, and of course retrieving the black box flight recorder of a crashed ship so you can triangulate the position of Space Hitler's ship and use a heavy surface-to-air battery to shoot him out of the sky.
3, 2, 1, firing.
That frame rate, baby.
Yeah, this game goes 0 to 100 real fast. Anyway, let's get back to something sensible, like using medieval weaponry to kill fantasy creatures. The biggest part of this game, from beginning to end, from the moment you wake up on that beach to the moment you pass out each day from exhaustion, is combat. This game has a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. The hardest thing in this game is to simply walk unmolested through a short forest trail, which is physically impossible, because every step of move away, you'll be harassed, molested, and physically assaulted by the entire regional populace. Should you survive your first experience of the great outdoors, you'll reach Arnica, the first city in the game. And don't worry, that's where I also let my guard down. Sleeping with a door open, peeking out from a dusty window, only to catch a faint glimpse of moving pixels in your peripheral vision. I'm very sorry, but you're now in combat with the entire city, because even civilization is an unstoppable barrage of random encounters. To understand my frustration, here's an example. Previously, I have walked 5 meters on a tropical island, got jumped by crustaceans, walked 5 meters back because I realized I was going the wrong way, got jumped by more crustaceans, only to walk forward again and get jumped by the same group of crustaceans which have now respawned. This wouldn't be so bad if combat wasn't turn-based, but it is, and it's slow. This won't hit you immediately, but believe me, it will. And once it does, the following information will make sense. Hello, future viewer. Like you, I have also had a mental breakdown after watching combat animations for many hours. So, I've installed the Wizardry 8 speed mod to quicken animations. I'm running Wiz 8 fast at 625 times speed, and I'm simultaneously speed hacking the game with Cheat Engine at 3 times speed. And it's still slow, but don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean combat is easy. It's absolutely the opposite. It's sadistically hard. It doesn't care, and it's going to keep beating you until you break.
Everybody just got destroyed.
A saint!
Sure, you can put down the difficulty. You're still gonna get shredded by the 10+ juggernauts that just came out of camouflage. The only way to avoid dismemberment is to play intelligently. This game is a constant battle of overwhelming odds versus your own capacity to game the system. To charge the juggernauts is suicide. They swing potentially 3 times a turn, and they're not stupid. They're gonna surround you, flank you, and hack your spellcasters to pieces. Positioning is important. Instead of charging, we herd them into a choke point. Their numbers become worthless, and we reduce the fight into a glorified meat grinder. And that's not hyperbole. Enemies get visibly wounded the more you hurt them.
That's pretty
very
sweet.
Pavlovian response as I get satisfied.
Like a lot of turn-based games, I feel like the strategy is in like what attacks you pick and the probability of like a hit versus a miss. As opposed to this is a turn-based game, but you can also move, so there is actually more like
a placement strategy as well. Yeah. No, that is cool. But I mean, when you've done it so many times, like, I mean, that was ridiculous. That little segment where he walks to the ship, goes back, then walks back to the ship, and he's fighting the same. Like, it almost gets to the point where like it removes you from the reality of the game because you're doing it so much.
Right.
You know, where it's like you can't even follow the story because you're fighting an unreasonable amount.
Right.
But
or it gets annoying because people or enemies keep respawning. I've definitely dealt with that before in games, and it's just like, I just am trying to open a box or whatever the simple task you're trying to accomplish. So I get it.
Satisfaction from seeing whatever has inconvenienced me get reduced to a bloody pulp. Other times I'm left thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, please stop. Just put him out of his misery, as I'm beating a bandit so hard that we've ripped the very skin off his face and his skull is visibly poking through the flesh.
That actually is pretty sweet.
Your fighters
for a game
do most of the damage. Your mages control the battlefield. Why deal with the crowd when you can make the crowd insane and kill each other in a psychotic rage? And if
there
that
you
doesn't
go,
work, paralyze them, curse them, give them topical dermatitis, make them throw up, and induce nausea. You know the best way to stop an animal attack? Diarrhea. Because it's very hard to focus on anything when your ass is exploding. However, anything
that's
that
a really
affects
good
enemies
point.
can affect you as well. And you'll find it's very hard for your party to focus when they're in the process of getting vored and digested by wild animals.
Something's different, but I can't put my finger on it.
Luckily, combat is extremely rewarding. You only have to win a couple of fights appropriate to your level to level up. With that comes increased stats, skills, and spells to expand your options. Also, the game gets harder. Early game might be spent on the verge of death, but given time, you'll find that this is a constant state of tension, except you're no longer afraid of it. Instead, you learn to enjoy it, and even revel in the act as you realize you're quite good at it. I do, however, have some critique. 1. Traps. Traps are randomized, and one of them stole 90% of my current assets. Philosopher's Bane turns your gold into lead, and I forgot to quick save. On the other hand, my critique is also praised, because traps are a perfect example of how goddamn good the sound design is in this game. First, you gotta tumble around to try and guess the mechanism. Next, you need to try and disarm them one at a time. Listen to this. The sound is so goddamn crispy that you can physically feel the tension as your rogue fiddles with the machinery, which can snap at any given moment. Good God, I love it. Just remember to save.
Wow.
2. Lockpicking. Lockpicking is not based.
That's cool.
It's kind of cool. It is an endless hell of clicking tumblers to make them rise, only to watch the rest fall as you persist in your futile struggle, which is why I strongly recommend you use earth magic to magically hold the tumblers, because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. 3. Pickpocketing. Don't even bother, because it's fucking broken. No one's really sure how it works, but you can't save scum, and the responses are hard-coded. It's actually almost creepy. I once pickpocketed an NPC 5 times with the same negative outcome, only to reload the quick save and discover that the NPC was missing, or rather that they were deleted from my save file, as if to send me a message. I know this sounds like I'm losing it, and you don't have to believe me, because I managed to record the whole thing. 4. Other weird shit that happens. I used to think you couldn't alt-tab out of this game, because alt-tabbing breaks the keyboard. Turns out it doesn't. You just have to hit the alt key once again. How could you know this? You can't. How did I learn this? I smashed my keyboard and it worked. Then I reduced the surface area
Is that
of
a
my
sock?
fist, smashed
It
keys at
looks like a
random
sock.
until,
Yes.
through order of elimination, found the secret combination. This game has several features on the level of esoteric knowledge. That is to say, nobody knows shit. Wizardry 8 is absolutely fantastic. Yes, there's annoying bullshit to deal with, but hey, it's almost 2 decades old and released in less than ideal circumstances. That's why there's still a fucking hardware advert that pops up whenever you try and close the game, because the publisher was broke and the developer was about to be. So they had to shill out, buy advertising, hire FPS in a turn-based RPG where FPS doesn't matter. On the other hand, holy shit, that advert aged well. They still exist to this very day. Pre-built computers? Now that's a future-proof business model, not some turn-based PTSD simulator that blew its entire poly count on jiggle physics. This game will try to break you. It'll spit in your mouth, call you names, and crush your self-esteem. But if you persist, that's when real satisfaction kicks in. When you're no longer at the mercy of its bullshit. It's the feeling of control. And let me tell you, it is an all-encompassing, intoxicating sensation. I give Wizardry 8 an extremely high score. I also give it 80% off on GOG, because I have that power. All this for about $2. If it sounds like something you'd enjoy, give it a try. An average playthrough will run you anywhere between 100 to 150 hours of game time. And given the vast range of builds and character classes, it is very much replayable, preferably with breaks of several years in between. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one, stay safe, and please enjoy the credits.
He seems like a kind, generous soul. I hate him.
What do you want? If it walks, I can change that.
I'm burning to kill.
You gotta admire the guy.
Yes.
He didn't let a little thing like being dead slow him down one bit.
So now I'm a Templar Rat-Axe. All my childhood dreams have come true.
Oh, great! Swimming! I hate swimming! I didn't come a million miles to get all soggy!
I'm filled with glee. We won. I think we can make an all-right universe if we put our minds to it. Chaos.
If they ever remake this game, they need to get John Benjamin to voice
Death has taken him. Lucky fellow.
You know, they said I was crazy when I told them I'd take over the universe one day.
Ow! Master, it is my duty to report a life form disappearance.
You know, that was the single most traumatic moment of my entire life. I'm not a man to hold resentments. I like to forgive. Maybe you could expedite that process a little by, you know, a cash settlement.
His death comes as a surprise.
I know.
He showed so many traits of a strong alpha male. We got it! Now let's get out of here before bells and buzzers go off. I'd hate for this to turn into some kind of bloodbath, yeah. Hate it.
You know...
Look at the list of all those support, man. It's
I know,
crazy.
it's awesome. Yeah. Again, I think the voice acting is the thing that sticks out to me the most. I mean, you have all these rich characters, and to differentiate them, like, obviously the graphics aren't anything near where we've come. Still very impressive with what they were able to do at the time, but they really had, like, each voice was so distinct.
Yeah.
And had, like, a character trait that really was like, oh, I know who this person is just by the sound of their voice.
Yeah, definitely makes you... It makes the experience of playing the game that much more memorable. Like he said, my favorite thing that he said was, like, every character, for the most part, is voice acted. There's not a lot of them, but each and every one was entirely memorable. And that is how you create memorable experiences and worlds. I mean, just like we talk about Mass Effect all the time.
Right.
And one of the reasons why is
characters.
Because of memorable characters and absolutely phenomenal voice acting. And this, to me, was, in terms of that, way ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I don't know if, to be completely frank and honest, I don't know if I would have the patience to play the game, but it is cool that for $1.99 you could go play it. If it's still that price. But, I mean, man... Yeah, if you're into games like that and you're into old nostalgic feelings and you like embarking on video game adventures, like what I don't know what better option you'd have than doing that.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It'd be fun even just to check it out, even if we don't. Well, we'd have to slog through the frustrating thing of running into encounters every 5 meters or whatever.
Yeah.
Which could be frustrating.
100 hours. That's, I mean, I'm pretty sure like that's what
also pretty intense for like a main campaign. Well, I don't know. I guess campaigns still run it, like big RPGs still run about that.
Yeah, I think I want to say for my like main playthroughs of like a Mass Effect, I think I put in about 35 or 40 hours in each game. So it's crazy. All in a single game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Seth did such a great job of like going through the story quickly and then talking about the gameplay and he really went through the important parts that really make this game what it is.
Yeah.
So actually I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that video from Seth. Not only was it funny and entertaining, but I just thought it was a really cool like piece of nostalgia and history.
Yeah, and something I wouldn't know about if I hadn't watched this video or checked it out. So thank you, Scrambled Eggs, for suggesting this video. It is really fun to check out like older games that I didn't play or maybe fun to check out. Yeah. Very cool. Hey, let us know in the comment section down below if there's anything else you want to check out, or if you played this when it first came out. What did you think of like the voice acting and like the options, like all that you could do? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. It seems like even like from this game, things evolved. Like the lock picking mechanism reminds me of Skyrim. Where it's like a very like audio based, and there's obviously they added like stuff with like haptic feedback. Or something similar to that.
Yeah. Particularly with the tumblers, that was very Oblivion to me. The fourth one, the one that was before Skyrim.
Yeah. So it's like it definitely looks like a lot was taken from this or inspired by this game and moved into other things. So
yeah, I don't know if it was like the same game engine or what, but like that was definitely giving me Morrowind vibes. And then I 100% recognize, like I'd be 99% confident that we heard the voice of the male Khajiit and Argonian from Oblivion in that. And I'd be willing to bet that was Cicero's voice, the guy that voices Cicero at one point in the video that we heard. I don't remember exactly when it was. But that was also really cool. So maybe there is some overlap between Bethesda and the maker of Wizardry 8. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey, make sure to hit that like button if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on Chicago Reacts.
Heck yeah.